What's happening? Today is the 30th day of November. I can't believe it. And it is the 47th episode of season 2 of the Be Your Own Hero show. Hero is an acronym, it means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. Try it, you might like it. I am Sekouwrites. I'm your host. I am a professional creative and the creator of what is now known as the Hero Ministry Movement. And that is my effort to uplift and inspire the unhoused community through many different ways, including the Hero Charity Run, which we'll talk about in just a second. So I am not a personal trainer or a financial advisor. So do your own homework and due diligence. Shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this space and this opportunity to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. Check me out here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, and do the math for the other time zones. And if this show provides any value, like, comment, share, etc. All right, so let me get settled. I feel unsettled. All right, let's go. Lot to talk about. So let's do the Hero Ministry Movement news. First up, shout out to the heroes that are showing up in the chat. Shout out to all the heroes watching now and on replay, but also shout out to the heroes in the chat. Shout out to Nan, shout out to Linda, shout out to Tim with his cup of coffee. And that almost set me off on a tangent, but I'm not going to do it. I was going to go through a whole tangent about Dad's coffee. Nope. Let's do this. So, Hero Ministry Movement news. Okay. Today is day 183 of me running every single day for 183 days in a row. That takes us all the way back to June 1st. And if you've been watching, I reached my goal of 500 miles. And let's back up a bit. The goal, which has evolved over time, is I am running 500 miles to raise $5,000 for 5 nonprofits that work with the unhoused community. That is the goal as it stands now. That goal has evolved over time. I think that's important to note because, slight sidebar, we've been talking on Rev Mel's show about knowing what you want. And so what I want to offer is knowing what you want can shift. Like if you go all the way back to June 1st, what I wanted then in terms of the charity run has shifted like a million times between then and now. Originally, it was just my goal to run 30 miles in 30 days. That's it. Compare that to what it is now. So decide what you want and it will evolve. That's all I'm saying. That's all the time I'm going to give myself for that sidebar. Okay, so back on track. Today was the hardest day. If you can believe that, 183 was by far the hardest day. And I thought about that as I was running. Like, why is it so hard today? And even before I was running. And this is my answer. It's because I reached my goal. That's the simple answer. I reached my goal on Sunday. As of Sunday, I hit 501 miles. And again, my goal was 500 miles. And then on Monday, I was feeling really lax. On Monday, I ran a mile in the morning. And it's been months since I've only run a mile. And then it didn't feel like enough, so I ran another mile last night. And so that took me to a little bit over 2 miles for the day. But it still didn't feel like enough. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I run 3.1 minimum miles every day. Why am I running like 1s and 2s? And it's because I reached my goal. And so today, even though I started warming my mind up last night, today was so hard because I reached the goal. There was something in me that was like, we're done. And it was so hard to battle past that. And so today I felt like, all right, I got to get out here and I got to make up for the miles that I missed yesterday. And even though I was saying that, the other parts of my mind were like, nah, man, we good. We did the thing. We got 500 miles. Let's take a nap. Let's take it easy. Let's coast. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's celebrate. You deserve to rest. That was a big one this morning. It was so difficult. So anyway, I got out there and I did 6 miles to do my 3 miles for today and also compensate for yesterday's laziness. So, well, laziness all relative. I still ran over 2 miles, but compared to what I'm used to. So I did 6 miles today. So that takes me to 106 miles for the month as compared to 105 miles last month. And that takes me to 509 miles total so far for the charity one. So I'm excited that I was able to push past, and I learned that lesson about don't be complacent because you reach your goal. Set a new goal immediately. So that's what I'm in the process of doing, setting a new goal, because I can't be fighting with myself like that every morning. Okay. All that said, shout out to all the people who have been involved in this last minute flurry of activity. There's only a few days left. Project Love Strong's 4th annual Hoodies for the Homeless event is on December 4th. So that's coming up real fast, and we are getting real close. I've talked a lot about the miles portion of this goal. Let's talk about the money. So again, the goal was and is $5,000. I raised $1,000 on my own before this official campaign. So we're getting there, and we're very close. Like, let me tell you what the exact number is. There's exactly $365 left. And I feel like that is very symbolic. Somehow, some way, there's exactly $365 left. The same number of days that are in the year. I don't know what the universe is trying to say, but that's very specific. So if you can, please donate. If you can't, please share this. I know we can make it. Only $365 left, starting from $5,000 all the way down to $365 left. So I'm still running the 10 for 10 campaign. I've seen, $10 donations come in here and there. So let's keep running it. 10 for 10 campaign, 10 people to give $10, and we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there before December 4th so that I can make these disbursements of what? Funds, yes, but also like encouragement, financial encouragement to these nonprofits that are on the ground, doing the work in the trenches on the front lines, especially Project Love Strong, because they are doing a campaign, they're doing a fundraiser themselves, and our contribution will close the gap to the end of their campaign. Like, we can effectively fund the rest of their fundraiser. Our fundraiser will close out their fundraiser. So come on, let's go. Let's go. 10 for 10. All right. So I think that's it about that. I'm just really excited about it. Really excited about it. Project Love Strong was founded by Jay White. She just posted our interview, hers and mine, this morning. So check that out. I will repost it on my social media soon, but go to Project Love Strong and check it out. It was a very good interview. Okay. So that said, next up, backpack drop stories. There was I don't know if I told this one or not. I hope not. But anyway, this is a quick one. I was walking around at night doing DoorDash, and I ran across a man in a wheelchair by Port Authority, which is the big bus station in New York. And he wasn't asking for anything. He was just kind of sitting there in his wheelchair, kind of frozen. And I asked him if he needed anything, if he wanted some tuna packets, and he said he did. And once he accepted the tuna packets, I was saying, well, I have clothes too. I have, shirts and whatever kind of clothing he might want. I guess not anything he might want, but I had other items of clothing. And he said, I can't afford that. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Like, no, man, I'm not selling anything. I'm saying you can have any of these things. And he seemed really surprised by that. And I was really surprised that he thought that I was trying to sell him stuff. And so, we chatted a little bit, and all he took was the food. And then I saw him later that same day wheeling himself around some other part of 9th Avenue, some blocks away. He didn't seem to recognize me or didn't see me, but I thought that was an interesting exchange. And it made me think about maybe the language that I use in terms of offering things, but also what people generate as their expectations. Like, me saying I have these things to offer made him think that I must be trying to make some money. And so that's interesting. We should all guard our thoughts, guard our expectations, and be open and receptive. Okay, let's get to it. There's some things I want to talk about. So let's get to the money part. let's do our affirmation and then talk just a bit about Thanksgiving. So here's the affirmation. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. I'm so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. So if you've been watching the show, you know that over the Thanksgiving holiday, I was trying to explain NFTs to some of my younger cousins. And that kind of sparked this whole thought process where I was noticing the things that people were saying about money and realizing that the space that we're in with this show deals with abundance and money in a different kind of way. And so yesterday I started drilling down on the fundamentals, and I want to keep that going. I'm doing this for me as much as I'm doing it for you. The idea is that if we really get these fundamentals drilled down for ourselves and really get them deep into our subconscious, they'll be able to stand the test of time when we are pulled in other directions in terms of money and abundance and lack and limitation. We'll be able to hold our space. So the very first thing, the very first fundamental idea is investing is not optional. Investing is not optional. And I know for me, that's a new idea. I have historically thought of investing as optional. And more specifically, I've thought when I get enough money, then I'll invest. And I know that that's a common modality. That's a common way that people think about investing. When they get enough, then they'll invest. There's a couple things wrong with that I now know. I now know there's a couple things wrong with that idea. So the first is you don't invest money because you have extra money. You invest money because you want more money. Like you have to make that shift. You're not investing because you got extra money, extra disposable income, and you're trying to figure out what to do with it. No, you're investing because you want to accumulate more money. And that's now, that's not in the future. The second reason that it's wrong to think I will invest when I get money is because you need to practice. Everything in life is practice. And if you don't start practicing investing until you get large sums of money, you will be an amateur with large sums of money, which explains why most of the NBA players and NFL players end up broke, even though they've made so much money, because they hadn't been practicing how to invest before they got the money. So once you get the money, if you've been practicing, then you know what to do with it. But if you got lots of money and you haven't been practicing, you're an amateur with all this money and you don't know what a good investment looks like. You don't know how to invest. You don't know how the stock market works. You don't know any of the things, and you end up losing all your money experimenting. So all that said, it is fundamentally important to start investing right now, where you are right now. Don't wait. Don't think you'll do it when you get some money. Nope. Don't wait for a tax refund or anything else. Start right now. Start today. So that said, what I did, and I've talked about this before, I'll talk about this again, is I started with $1. I invested $1 on Cash App during the pandemic. So not even that long ago, mid-pandemic, I bought a share of Disney. Well, not a share. I bought $1 worth of a fractional share of Disney. And then I woke up the next day thinking that I was going to look and see that my dollar was gone. Because isn't that how the ethos of the stock market is promoted? You feel like you put money in there and it's going to vanish. So I really thought it was going to vanish. I thought my dollar was going to dwindle down to zero. And it didn't. And then I put another dollar in, and that didn't dwindle down to zero. And I was like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Right? And so I hope some of you are having the same experience, that it's not as complicated as it seemed previously. It's not easy, but it's not as complicated as it seemed previously. So for those of you that have not gotten off the porch yet, please get off the porch. I did a roll call a couple months ago, and only some of the people who watch the show regularly said that they had taken the steps to get invested. So I'm inviting the rest of you, get off the porch today. Like, in whatever way you can, start investing in some way, whether it's Cash App, Robinhood, Ameritrade, Charles Schwab. There are a million different ways to get started. The easiest of the ones that I just listed, if you have a smartphone, are Cash App, PayPal, and Robinhood, because they're easily downloadable apps that will let you access the stock market very easily from your phone. Not just the stock market, but also Bitcoin from your phone. So those are the easiest. And then there are some other brokerage houses that I just mentioned, like TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab. Still easy, but a little more complicated than the ones that you can access on your smartphone. The ones that you access on your smartphone are literally designed to be user-friendly in terms of their look and feel and user interface. They're designed to be user-friendly. So some of the older, quote unquote, stock brokerage houses have not been updated to be user-friendly. And maybe they never will be. Maybe that's part of the intimidation factor. But if you get on Ameritrade, you have to be focused about just paying attention to what's important to you. Don't try to pay attention to everything. Don't try to learn everything. Don't try to watch all the videos. Just pay attention to what's specifically of interest to you to get through the sign-up process. Anyway, that said, it's a little after 10 o'clock. So just for those of you who are just joining now, yes, the show is longer. It's been expanded to a half hour. We started at 9:45. So go back and check the replay to hear about where I am in terms of miles run and where we are in terms of dollars donated and where we need to get to by December 4th, which is coming right up. Okay, so investing is not optional. And the biggest excuse is I don't have enough money. And you've got to push past that, because you can't wait to invest, and you don't need much. You only need $1 to invest on Cash App. And as you start investing, you start learning things as you go. You'll learn more by investing and playing around in the sandbox than thinking about investing. Even if you're a meticulous planner, it doesn't matter what your plan is. Like, once you get involved, you're going to notice other things. And I can only tell you about some of the things that I've experienced. There are things you're going to need to experience yourself. So all that said, again, investing is not optional. If you want to build wealth for yourself, you need to be investing. And number two, don't wait until you have enough money. Start where you are. So this leads me to at least one, but maybe two other things. So I checked out this book. We should add it to our resource list. It's called 1 Minute Millionaire. You can already tell why I got it, right? A book called 1 Minute Millionaire. I was like, let me check this book out. So obviously it's not what you're thinking. It's not what I was thinking, but it was still very informative. The idea is there are little things you can do in a minute or less that will ensure your financial future. And one of those things is paying yourself first. We've heard that phrase many, many times. But to ground it and make it a little more tangible, what you do is you take 10% of everything you get in. So if you're a freelancer like me, you may get money sporadically. Doesn't matter. Whenever you get a payment of any amount, you take 10% and sock it away into savings, but knowing now that savings is just a temporary holding place to invest it. The point is to get in the habit of always taking 10% out, no matter how small the amount is. If you only get $7, take that 70 cents and stick it over into this other account so that you can invest it. Why? Because it's the habit of paying yourself first that will pay dividends literally and figuratively later on. Also, it's the habit of respecting money. that knowing that 70 cents is only 70 cents now, but if you invest it, it will grow. And that 70 cents can help your investment portfolio grow over time. So if you're a freelancer, no matter when you get the money, take 10% out. And I know as a freelancer, that can be difficult because you're not sure when you're going to get that next payment. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What I've learned is if you can live off of, if you, let's say you get a payment for $10, you can survive. You can survive on 9. You can survive on 9, right? If you get, back to my previous example, you get $7, you can survive by, even if you take 70 cents out. Like that 10% is not going to make a difference. And if you are able to practice that on small amounts, like $7, $10, $20, then it won't phase you when you're taking 10% out of bigger amounts like $20,000, $50,000, $1 million, because you will already be in the practice. And even though the dollar amount will be bigger, you'll know that it's only 10% and it's not going to really make that much of a difference. So for those of you who are not freelancers and you have some steady form of income, just lock it in. 10% off the top over into this separate bucket. And that bucket is to be used for investing. That's its only purpose. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. It is not an emergency fund. If something goes wrong with the car, leave that bucket alone. Just pretend that bucket doesn't exist and figure it out some other kind of way and put that bucket of money into investing. And so mostly we've been talking about the stock market. So let's say put that 10%, that bucket of money into the stock market. It will surprise you how fast it accumulates, because it has definitely surprised me. And you know, we're not talking about huge sums of money, but still, like having a couple $100 somewhere growing is essential to your joy around money. At least I found it to be so. And so even when I have financial challenges, when I need some money, I don't even think about touching that money anymore. I don't even think about it. Like, even though I know it's there, I'm like, no. like I got to deal with this financial crunch however else I can deal with it. But anything that's over there in the stock market stays in the stock market. Because if you take it out, you have to start the clock all over again. It's really about time invested. Like the more time you have in the market, the better the returns are. Okay, so just recapping, investing is not optional. Don't use the excuse of I don't have enough money. Just start where you are and leave that money over there and take 10% out of any income you get in. I know that can be difficult, but I promise you, you can survive on 90%. So just take that 10% out and set it aside and use that to invest. Okay, so that's where we are. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on these fundamentals bit by bit and really drill them down, and so we can create like a bullet point list of things that we need to know and remember. So I think I'm gonna close out. I think that's it. But I just want to comment about awareness. So my dad has this habit of clipping newspaper articles that he thinks that I'll be interested in. And so what's fascinating about that is the stack of newspaper articles changes from year to year, from month to month even, depending upon what my interests are. And so in this phase and stage, he started clipping articles about investing, about the stock market, about NFTs, about cryptocurrency, about all these things that we've been talking about, which is fascinating because these are not things that he's been interested in historically, and they're not things that I have been interested in historically, but because of my growing interest and because of this show, he started clipping those articles. And what I'm noticing is not only that the reticular activating system is working with him, like he's paying more attention to these things, but also I'm understanding more of these articles. Like there was an article about an SPAC that was created recently to bring some company public. And you may remember that we talked about this in terms of Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal has a group of friends and investors, and they've been creating SPACs. I can't remember what the acronym is right now, but essentially you create an SPAC specifically for the purpose of taking a company that is not public, and then helping that company grow, and then helping the SPAC grow, and helping the people who've invested in that SPAC grow. So like even that awareness has come from this space and doing this work. And I hope that the same thing is happening for you, that as you're moving around out there in the world, you're hearing things and paying more attention to them and understanding more about them, because the reticular activating system is on and paying attention to this world of financial resources, this world of abundance, and that you're processing that information in a way that makes it beneficial for you. So I'll just end with this. Have a goal. Have a goal. This takes us all the way back to how I started in terms of my charity run, and how I had a goal of 500 miles and I hit it. And now I realize I have to create a new goal very quickly to keep myself motivated. In terms of the stock market, you have to have a goal. Otherwise, you're just going to splash around trying this and trying that and then trying this other thing. Have a goal. Even if your goal changes, have a goal. And yesterday I talked about how the goal can be income. And if that's your goal, then that will order your steps in terms of how you approach the stock market. But you can have income through the stock market. You can invest in dividend paying stocks and dividend paying index funds and ETFs, and all those combined can create income for you separate from whatever income you have. This will be my last thing. There's an NFL player who made it to the NFL, but he's riding the bench and he wasn't making much money. I mean, it's all relative, like not making much in the NFL, still making a lot of money, but he became concerned about his future. And so he started investing his money, and now he has an income from his investments separate from his income as an NFL player, still riding the bench as an NFL player. And so if and when he gets cut, he has this income that's still steadily coming into his bank account from these dividend paying stocks and index funds that he's invested in. So you can create your own income. If that's your goal, you can create your own income. So once again, decide what your goal is. All right. So I'm finished early for a change. I got prayer time coming up at 10:15, and then sit with Rev Melissa coming up at 10:30. She's been talking about unwanting, and I'm very curious to hear about that and how that goes. So keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own hero. Remember that now is better than perfect. And please, if you can, contribute to the Hero Charity Run. We've got only $365 left and only a few days left to be able to give bountifully to these 5 nonprofits, all of which work with the unhoused community in 4 different cities. All right, so keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own hero. Remember that now is better than perfect once again. And I'm out. Later.